Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of the Black Line Brief. I'm your host, Matthew McKim, and it is Friday. Thank God it's Friday, TGIF. And it definitely is one of those weeks where you're like, oh, thank goodness it's Friday. Thank God. All right. We got a pretty jam-packed show tonight, a lot going on in the world, a lot to go over. Okay. I want to start by looking back at something. It has continually been a point of contention with TPUSA and Erica Kirk. Her and a lot of people that started with this channel from, its early days know that we started by looking at Erica. Okay. And so we're going to look at one thing from her, and then we're going to do some other things. All right. But it just dawned on me. I really wanted to show this because there might have been a lot of people that hadn't seen this from the beginning. As we come in, I got to do some things to make sure YouTube doesn't try to knock me for doing what we're supposed to be doing on YouTube. Fair use, copyright disclaimer. All right. Fair use disclaimer. Please let me do my thing, YouTube. All right. Let the Black Line crew do the Black Line crew thing. And if you are part of the Black Line crew, please come in, hit the like. And it is worth saying, because when I tune in to like Zach or Baron, I don't know that Candace ever says it actually. I mean, she's got so many people. She doesn't even have to say it, because even like 10% of however many hundreds of thousands or millions, enough hit it. But for a show as humble as this, I do need to say it, because I even forget when I go in Barron's or Zach's and I'm watching, I forget. And then they're like, hey, hit the like. I'm like, oh my goodness, thank you. And then I hit the like. So it's one of those things. I checked the box. I've said it. All right. Good job. We got the chat on the screen. Mystic, American Lynn, Crystal's here. Glenn Coco, good to see you. Jim Bear, Jane Seth Rupert. Also, you guys know the Common Sense show, The Older Gentleman. I reached out to him. Hopefully he gets back to me. He doesn't have to tell me his source. I just want to know that he has a direct source. Because he's releasing a lot of information that is pretty, like, I don't know, damning. If it's true, right? He claimed that Charlie Kirk filed for divorce 4 days before the assassination. He's also claimed that he questioned the paternity of the children. And that's actually circulating YouTube right now. There's a lot of people that have channels that are saying things, but they're not providing any kind of, I don't want to sound like Frank Turk and all these, fools. Like, you got to have evidence. Okay, whatever, dude. This isn't a case. But at least give us something so that we know, just like an offer of good faith, so that we know you're not just saying this, because there are a lot of channels out there just saying the craziest things. And I haven't really seen, or I haven't even heard anyone say, like, I've heard it directly from so-and-so. I know I've heard Candace and Baron said they have sources that were really close with Charlie, like close friends with Charlie himself, that said that there were issues in the marriage and that the marriage was having issues and falling apart. Some of that I'm kind of reading in. Candace also said, and I've only heard her report this, that the priest that came over the night before came to pray over the marriage, didn't come to pray over Charlie for that Jezebel article. I haven't heard Candace or Baron report that Charlie filed for divorce 4 days. And the Common Sense Show guy also reported that the parents are not happy with Erica, and that there's issues within the Kirk house between the parents and the sister and Erica. But I've watched, I've listened, I haven't seen or heard anything to confirm that that's credible. Like, that's That's those are honest statements. And I want them to be. I don't want them to be wrong. I just want to know that it's not just like these other channels. These other channels seem really clickbaity. You can see thumbnails and titles. They're talking about, you know, Charlie Kirk's question the paternity in question, and I'll click on them and I start watching, and then there's nothing there, you know. And so I'll definitely tell you guys the moment something is credible on that front. It's not been there yet. All right. Let's take a look back at Erica Kirk and Charlie Kirk, and her answer in regards to being a stay-at-home mom and trying to balance a full-time job. Can you do it? Is it right to do it? Should you do it? Let's hear what she has to say.
They can have it all, but it's not simultaneously, like different seasons. Your career, again, like I said, is not going anywhere. So what you're establishing now on YouTube and your platform and all that stuff, it's not going anywhere. What I will recommend, though, is when you do have children, do not use your children as pawns for a discount code. Do not use your child for a free stroller, for some influencer thing. Your children are sacred. Protect them. That is your role as a mother. Your platform was given to you by God, so steward it well and steward it properly. But it's not going to go anywhere. What you're building now is not going to get destroyed. I think that's what a lot of people get misconstrued, is thinking like, okay, what I'm building now is going to be worthless once I have a family. No, God will redirect it. He'll turn it into whatever it needs to turn into. Pray on it, because it's not always super clear, but it will come to you.
Couple things. So I'm kind of watching Charlie's. Before, when I've watched this, I was just locked in on Erica's body language. Is she closed off? Is she opened up? How is she sitting? How is her facial expressions, her delivery, like all of that? This time I'm paying attention to Charlie. And two things to note so far. One of the things that people were claiming in the whole Charlie Kirk is alive thing is that he started the whole countdown supposedly by itching his nose. First of all, it was wicked hot that day. He was sweating. Second of all, Charlie is a lot like me. We got a big schnauzer, and sometimes it itches. He's already itched it twice. Okay. The other thing to note is that he's doing his tick multiple times when he's not talking. It's a lot less noticeable when he's not talking. It's kind of just like a twitch right here. But when he talks, you'll see, and it pulls on this whole side of his cheek and down into his like throat area and then neck. And it even pulls down into his chest / shoulder. All right. I'm also paying attention to, is he in agreement with what she's saying? You know, is he nodding along? Is he, you know, fixed on her with his eyes? These are important things to note and try to pick up on as we rewatch old clips. This is in the year leading up to his assassination. And so if there were troubles ever, we might pick up on small, subtle, subconscious cues.
And I think that, yes, every season's going to come and have its own time and turn, but if this is what you're focusing on right now, like that's what you're focusing on. I mean, I don't.
I think you're in a great spot, honestly,
Yeah.
And Erica answered it beautifully. So, again, if you have to always prioritize what matters most, and with that, the Lord will open up the right doors.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay.
All right, let's see how quick this one is. This might be the last question. Yes.
Okay, hi guys, my name's Lily. So one thing is a piece of advice I'd love. The other is a question, whichever one you guys have time for. So first of all, with gentle parenting and then you have like abusive homes, what is the balance?
No, that's not the one, man. And I don't know why it got blurry all of a sudden. Where is the one?
Restaurant.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes like, nope, we're done. Actually, you made a fool of yourself. We're done. Especially sugar.
Church that you go to, I would share that with you. The policy, like this is the way to be a biblical.
He needs to hear one thing, just one. and we need like high stakes.
Hi guys, my name is Violet.
Hang
I'm from San Antonio. I'm super emotional to really nurture Erica's.
It's a great question. This is why understanding female nature to the best of our ability as men is very important. And,
Oh,
and
man.
we've
Goodness gracious. I think I passed over. I don't want to. My goodness. Where was it? Wedding. Man, I'm not going to go back through it. I'll find it next time. I thought I had it, man. I'm so sorry. We got the one part. She's like, you can't do both. But I think that was at the tail end. All right. Okay. My bad, guys. I thought I had the right timestamp. I was looking back over the last time I did this episode. My thing is, I need to be more organized. Okay. All right. So if you guys haven't noticed, all right, so we're switching gears. All right. So I apologize. We'll do that another time. My bad. All right. Shame on me. All right. What we're going to look at next is, there really is two camps right now in the conservative Republican right. Everyone that really, really stands for Charlie for real. Okay. Candace, Barron, Zach Costello, Joe Kent, Megan. I mean, Megan's 50-50. Tucker Carlson. I mean, she's 50-50 because she's still the whole Fed slop narrative. But hopefully talking with Joe Kent, and we're going to look at that in a second. Joe Kent spoke with Megyn Kelly today, but hopefully she comes around all the way. Tucker's coming a lot more around. I'm happy. You should be too. However, sifting through what is clearly a narrative on the supporting Erica Kirk, TPUSA at all cost side, okay? You have Officer Tatum, Graham Allen, Paramount Tactical, Ben Shapiro, and there's more. There's more. I just can't think of everyone's name right now. But the point is this. I've listened to all of them, and after Joe Kent made his resignation, his resignation letter went public. He went on Tucker Carlson. He went, TPUSA and Andrew Colvett and Blake Neff, they're on that side as well, obviously. They're like the tip of the spear, and Erica Kirk. But after he made his resignation, went on Tucker Carlson, went on Megyn Kelly, the camps are very, very clear, okay? There are some legitimate, like Black Scout Survival, Mike Ritland, and a number of other prior military and even special forces guys that are 100% behind Joe Kent, okay? Like real men that you can tell are not, they don't have a narrative. They're, their character isn't suspect. It's so clear because we're going to listen to a couple. We're going to listen to an Officer Tatum had to do he had to recant. He had to lie today and say, that's not what I said. I never said that. Whatever. We watched it yesterday, dude. You're disgusting. Everyone played it. We're going to look at it. Okay. But Gary Melton at Paramount Tactical is doing the same thing. So is Graham. What was the other one? Dave Rubin. They all are saying the same things. Okay. What was that guy? The guy that was on the show yesterday with Andrew Colvett and Blake Neff, something Marlowe. So they're all attacking Joe Kent. So I heard Megan ask him, I think he's won the Bronze Star 7 or 8 times. He's like a 7 or 8 time brown star or bronze. Oh my goodness. What the heck? My brain. Bronze Star recipient. 7 or 8 times Bronze Star recipient. 11 combat tours. He was a Green Beret, and tragically his wife passed away in Syria. People like Gary Melton, Officer Tatum, even Matt Walsh, right? I don't know if he attacked. I just saw that pop on the screen, but yeah, he didn't show up to that conference. These people are attacking Joe Kent, calling him a liar, saying that he is trying to wrongfully use Charlie's name, wrongfully, and they're saying that he's like attacking Trump, he's attacking Philly. Like, they're all saying the exact same talking points, and it's so clear how strategic it is, and it's so clear that they're all getting. So, like, do you guys remember? Have you guys ever seen when they replayed news broadcasts after, like, say 9/11? Okay, and they play certain clips, like one after the other from these different networks. And they all are literally saying the same exact words. And it didn't matter if it was Fox, ABC, NBC, CBS, and CNN. It didn't matter. All of these networks are like given the talking points, and then they deliver them. It's the exact same thing. Everyone needs to wake up that the powers at be, those in media that have controlled these major networks for generations, it took them a while to realize that cable news is on its way out the door. After baby boomers are gone, my generation, we don't really watch cable news. Okay, no one, and I don't even. I know my mom still does, but most people, my generation and younger, do not consume mainstream news. It took the mainstream news networks a while to realize that it wasn't a temporary thing, that they couldn't gain it back, and that they eventually had to integrate into this online YouTube, platform. So it only follows logical reasoning that instead of using, they have their own channels, obviously, but it still says Fox. It still says CNN. It still has their branding, and it comes with all of the baggage that is attributed to them when you watch them on a TV, when you watch them on cable news. So they realized that they have to find people like Graham, like Dave, like Gary Melton, like Officer Tatum. And if you watch JP Spears and he talks about Chase Hughes, a lot of these people, they self-proclaim as being American patriots, and maybe to some degree they are. I think they're just extremely misled and misguided. Chase said it's very easy for someone like them who has a platform to be approached, and for whether it be Intel, government, or a network to say, are you an American patriot? You want to save this country? And you're calling their identity into the equation. And then you give them this pitch that all they have to do is say certain things. We'll send them over. Not all the time, just when we say. And it's going to save the country. And they frame it like that it's like this patriotic duty that they're doing. And it makes sense. Also, they're getting paid. Okay, they're getting paid. They're saying something that they're being told by someone they believe that it's patriotic and it's for the good of national security and for the country. And so for a lot of them, they may think they're doing the right thing. Okay. And so it may not even be that they think they're, misleading their audience and the community, that they themselves believe the BS that they're saying. Okay. But it is clear to me, and all it takes is for any of you on one day, like the day after, like yesterday, go back to Gary's and Officer Tatum's and Dave Rubin's and TPUSA, listen to what they all are saying about Joe Kent, Tucker Carlson, Megyn Kelly, the Charlie Kirk assassination, Philly, Trump, and the Iran war. It's all the same, like the exact same. It's the exact same. And so that can't be an accident. That's not just a coincidence. Someone's giving them their talking points. They're accusing us. Gary's accusing all of us as having talking points. Joe Kent, Tucker Carlson, Megyn Kelly, Candace Owens, Baron Coleman, and anyone that feels and believes what we do and is speaking to our communities the way that we are. And that's one of the tactics they've always used is they accuse you of the thing they are doing. We've seen this time and time and time again. They accuse you for the thing they are doing. Okay. But let's take a look. We'll look at Megyn Kelly and Joe Kent in a second. But first, let's go. Who do I want to listen to first? Let's listen to this little leprechaun.
And staying with us and staying abreast, because I'm telling you right now, I genuinely believe that there is a plan in place to take our country. And I'm going to lay some of those things out for you tonight. Because one of the things that I know a lot of us, when we see what's going on with Candace Owens and Tucker Carlson and Megyn Kelly and now Joe Kent and Ian Carroll and all these people that are kind of all on the same bandwagon, they're sharing the same messaging, and we're going to show you that tonight as well, how coordinated and engineered all of this is. The question comes down to, you know, we're all speculating when, like, who's behind this? Is it Russia? Is it China? Is it the George Soros left? I don't know. I really don't. I have my suspicions.
This guy is such a joke. Holy smokes. You guys. It's China. Yeah. Tucker and Candace and Ian Carroll are working for China. Oh, yeah. They're working for George Soros. Yeah. Yeah. Holy smokes. I can't even contain myself because it's so stupid. It's like, it's so stupid. All because we think that TPUSA, Erica Kirk, Philly, and parts of the government and military had something to do with the Charlie Kirk assassination and the subsequent cover-up. I mean, the FBI is definitely involved in it. Joe Kent, seemingly a extremely honorable, very integral, honest individual, a patriot, hero, was very balanced on all of the podcasts he's been on. He actually, even just with Megyn Kelly, and we'll look at it in a minute, like, he stuck up for Trump. He said when he realized that Trump was someone he could get behind was in 2015 or 15, maybe before. And he was debating, what's the younger Bush's name? He's like bigger. He's like fatter. Man, I can't remember his name. Whatever. George Bush's little brother, Jeb Bush. He was debating him. And Trump was like, and the Iraq war was a big mistake. And he was saying everything that no one else in the Republican GOP was saying. And that's when Joe Kent was like, I like this guy, because he had fought in Iraq and Afghanistan and Yemen and Syria. Okay. But Joe Kent still, even today, like on Megyn Kelly, even on Tucker, he didn't attack Trump. He didn't attack the administration. He didn't even attack the people that are attacking him after leaving. He gave them grace. And he's like, I get it. They got to do it. They still work there. They got to do what they got to do. Right. A very stand-up guy. But he was like, look, it became very clear to me after the 12-day war, in the lead up to the 12-day war, and then after, he's like, Philly was going to come back. They weren't happy because Bibi was pushing for full war then. Tucker went. Charlie Kirk went. They were both there. Charlie said to Joe, keep us out of war with Iran. Tucker and Charlie had to go back and make sure that it didn't happen. It was a real issue. They were concerned that people that were in, the orbit of Trump, and I mean, no doubt, Charlie knew that in Trump's last presidency, BB was, he did 6 visits in 4 years. Okay, 6 visits in 4 years. BB did 6 visits in 1 year since Trump was elected. That's not an accident. And each time his rhetoric became more extreme, more urgent, and the pressure continued to crank up. While at the same time, we ended up doing the limited strike, the bombing of Fordo, and, you know, Joe Kent and Charlie Kirk said they could get behind that because they had a clear, definable mission. Okay. We're going in with X amount of targets. We're going to bomb these targets and we're going to eliminate their nuclear program. That's how we know when we've completed the objective. Very clear. They did that. That means there can be a clear end. Okay. That's the difference between what how Charlie was speaking about the 12-day war and Fordo in June of last year and how we would be speaking now. There's no clear mission, objective, deadline. Where's the out? Where's the end? It's very, very vague. And in fact, Tucker just did an interview with Professor Yang. It's amazing. Everyone should watch that. Not right now. Don't go anywhere. Wait till I'm done. Fall asleep to it. Watch it tomorrow. But it's good. But it's very clear that things were very serious when looking at BB coming here 6 times in 1 year. Hold on. Coming here 6 times in 1 year. The pressure continuing to build on BB wanting us to engage in regime change. Charlie even warned against that. I don't want regime change. I don't want regime change. Tucker said the same thing. Joe Kent said after the bombing and the 12-day war, he knew Philly was going to come back and ask for this because this is what they wanted the whole time. And so it's not crazy that when Joe realized this is not what he signed up for, they completely shut him down in regards to the Charlie Kirk assassination inquiry into foreign involvement, which had to do with Philly. So like he quickly learned Philly's running the show. Anything that he wants to do to try to get to get Trump to think about this in regards to Philly and what Philly is doing in our country and with them, it wasn't going to work. And he knew he had to leave. Okay. And so all these little talking heads are all attacking him. And it is clear. And here he is. And this is Gary telling us that that's what we're doing. Yeah, it's nuts.
I think that Russia's heavily involved with this. I think China's heavily involved. I think all of them. What I can tell you is anytime that there is an event taking place like this, there's all these different entities that are going to jump on board and are going to exploit it, capitalize on it, push it, expand it, boost it. That's what's going to happen. And because it benefits them in many, many different ways. But ultimately, the goal is to put an end to MAGA. And every single person that I just mentioned may have different motivations. Some of them may be sincere, but I think ultimately what it comes down, just like there's lots of sincere socialists.
This is how we know he's not an honest person. Okay. You guys want to know who put an end to MAGA? Philly and Trump. Trump listened to Philly and the people, the never Trumpers, the people that were not MAGA, that had Mark Levin, Lindsey Graham, Ted Cruz, Mike Huckabee, who are now completely infiltrated Trump and getting him to do all the things, or getting him to not do all the things he promised us he would do. And he's doing things he promised us he wouldn't do, like getting involved in a long quagmire war in the Middle East, not releasing Einstein files, not being transparent, not prosecuting criminals. The person that killed MAGA is Trump and his administration. Pam Bondi, Kash Patel, Dan Bongino, everyone that's in office right now. Megan didn't. Tucker didn't. Candace didn't. Charlie didn't. Nope. Joe Kent didn't. We all have eyes. We can just, we're watching this happen. we're seeing that MAGA got taken over from people that were never MAGA. America First has become Philly First. Never Trumpers are now forever Trumpers. And what was a seemingly very patriotic movement to take back our country has been completely taken over. And for that reason, and that reason alone, MAGA is dead. Okay. It's not because of Tucker, Candace, or Megan, or anyone else. It's not because of Joe Kent. Okay. They're just responding to the fact that it looks like MAGA's dead. Okay. And that's how you know this guy's lying. He's accusing these individuals of wanting to take down MAGA and then saying Russia and China are behind it. It's utterly ridiculous.
Lots of sincere communists. There's people out there that believe communism will genuinely benefit American society, even though there's absolutely no evidence. There's all the evidence against that. But these people are ideologues. They believe this stuff, and they will continue to do so. So I don't know what their motivations doesn't really matter. Are they getting paid? Are these sincere beliefs? Doesn't really matter. But we can map out the trajectory of what they're doing, and we can start looking at the big picture so people are aware of this, as opposed to sitting around trying to pretend that we can guess who's paying them or what their motivations are. I will try to get to as many.
Yeah, whatever, dude. That's nuts. Accusing us of the exact same, the very thing that he's doing. You know, it's just, it's utterly nuts. All right, let's listen. You guys were here. Hopefully, if you weren't here, yesterday, not only did Officer Tatum attack Joe Kent, so did, Andrew Colvett, Blake Neff, something Marlowe, I forget his name. He was on TBUSA. Ben Shapiro did, Dave Rubin did, Gary did, pretty much Graham Allen did. Like, literally, like, the manliest, honest, like, Christian American hero like I could think of. He's literally been awarded the Bronze Star 7 or 8 times. I forget. We'll hear in a minute when we listen to that. 11 combat tours. This guy, Officer Tatum, calls him a coward. And then here, let's hear what he has to say today. He's got to eat crow. So the title is, I was wrong. Wait, what does it say? I was wrong about Joe Kent. Oh, he doesn't even say it as a statement. It's a question. Oh, what a joke. A guy that can't even admit when he's wrong and apologize. Get ready for the excuses that you hear from your 5-year-old. Straight from Officer Tatum, a grown freaking man.
Everybody that's watching this to listen to me. First of all, I never said Joe Kent's military service was worthy of being a coward or being.
No one would ever say that. That's not a coherent freaking sentence, dude. Look at you shifting the goalpost. So this is what happened. He called Joe Kent a coward, just straight out, just flat. That's what he said. Joe Kent is a coward for doing what he did. Blanket. That's what Officer Tatum said. People like real other veterans, special forces guys, MARSOC guys, Navy SEALs, Delta, Green Beret, all came out on the internet today and lit this dude, this little boy up. Okay. Real men got to X, got on their socials and lit Officer Tatum up for calling Joe Kent a coward. So here's the real coward that can't just admit that he did something wrong, apologize, eat crow, and walk. He's shifting the goalpost and saying, I never said that Joe Kent's military record was something of being a coward. Like, it's not even a sentence. Oh, my goodness. He can't just be like, dude, my bad. I got paid. Oh, that's right. Oh, man, I wish I could find it. I'll try to find it on X. I just didn't want it to mess up with my browser, but I'll try to find it.
They're called a coward. I never called his service a coward. I think anybody that's serving the military.
I didn't mean to laugh that hard into the mic. You guys, Can you call someone's military service a coward? Does that work? A coward is a person. You're calling someone a coward. You're not calling something a coward. You're not calling, this term of service a coward. You can't do that. Look at this gymnastics that he's trying to do with language, and it just is so incoherent. You're just like, wait, well, no, of course you wouldn't call his military service a coward, because that's not where you use that word in English. You call some person a coward. He's shifting the goalpost, and it's so obvious because it doesn't even make sense. Freaking Officer Tatum, bro. Go back to school, my man.
Is an American hero, but that does not mean that a person who was an American hero cannot do something cowardice. The problem I have with him is not that he disagreed with the Iranian war. If you're working in the administration and you disagree, you should leave. If you don't believe in what Trump is doing, you should leave.
That's what he did. Is this guy working? Is he operating with a full deck, you guys? Has he not been paying attention to what's going on? So Joe Kent was in the NCTC. He tried to affect change from within. Then when he realized he couldn't, he resigned. That is literally what happened. Okay. Just making sure we're all here. Officer Tatum is playing catch up. Let's see if he catches up.
But when your documentation that you write says Iran wasn't a threat at all to the United States of America, and it's just Israel in the lobby, to me, that's disrespectful to the men and women that put that uniform on and are willing to die for American values and exceptionalism. And then you don't only do that.
Hold on. I found it, guys. This is going to be good. I got to remember if this guy on X says anything inappropriate. I don't think he does. I think he alludes to how Officer Tatum could have been compromised. And so let's see. Okay. All right. Let me make sure. Let me make sure it didn't mess up with my stream, because we're over on X. And X and YouTube hate each other. I don't know why. All right, we're good. Ready, set, go.
In news today, Brandon Tatum says Joe Kent is a coward. And I'm starting to think that people are just retarded. I think people like Brandon Tatum they're just retarded. Or here's the other theory. Or Brandon Tatum got his ass caught on his front-facing camera doing things and watching things that he shouldn't, and somebody slid his own phone over to him and said, here, you're going to say what we want you to say, otherwise we're going to show your wife this, or we're going to show the world this. That's how it happens. That's how it happens. Otherwise, you're never going to catch Brandon Tatum saying this about an 11-time combat deployed war veteran who is a Gold Star husband, lost his own wife in Syria fighting another nonsensical war in the Middle East.
Come on.
So you're either retarded.
Yep.
Or, my man, you got caught up.
Yep.
You got caught up. You took the bait.
Yep.
You took the bait. You couldn't control your flesh. Your flesh got the best of you. And now you have to say the most ridiculous stuff like this. You got to say the most insane stuff like an 11-time combat deployed war veteran is a coward. What? Bro, hard R retard. Retarded. Or, bro, you just got caught up.
Yep.
You got caught. You took the bait. And now, if you go against what they want you to say, they're going to expose you, and you just can't handle that. Those are called consequences. That's the unintended consequence of you not being able to get your flesh under control. Hate it for you, man. Hate it for you.
Amen. Bro. Give that dude a thumbs up. Okay. So don't let Officer Tatum try to persuade you that he never called Joe Kent a coward. Okay. Don't let him shift the goalpost on anyone that didn't watch his first video. I did. So did that guy. So did Mike Ritlin. Okay. So did Black Scout Survival. Officer Tatum called Joe Kent personally a coward. Okay. And now the most cowardice thing someone could do as a man is not admit when you're wrong, make an excuse, and lie and shift the goalpost. Not the most, but I mean, that's one of the things. Just man up, bro. You got caught. Man up. Take it on the chin. Walk it off, dude. Just freaking walk it off.
You have a reputation in the administration of being a leaker and an investigator.
You guys. So, okay, Megyn Kelly we're going to listen. We're going to get there, but this is just too good for TV, you guys. That's just one of the total false narratives about Joe Kent. Okay. He retained his extremely, I think, one of the toppest level security clearances, classified information, to the very last day he was there. They didn't take away his security clearance, his access to classified information. He was never under investigation or anything until after he resigned. Okay. No, there was no accusations or allegations of him leaking anything at all. This is how you know Officer Tatum and Gary Melton, Graham Allen, Dave Rubin, TPUSA, Andrew Colvett. They are the new Fox News. They are the mouthpiece for the, Republican president, whoever's in power at the time. They get their talking points directly from DC. This is what you do. This is what you say. And they're all doing it. They're all doing it like dodo birds, just quack, 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 all at the same time. Totally not true.
Into you leaking was already established before you quit.
Nope.
So the real question is, did you quit because you were being investigated and you knew it was going to come out?
Nope. So it's already there was no investigation before he quit, guys. Okay. Total false narrative.
So instead of you getting caught, you want to beat them to the punch, say all this crazy stuff to get momentum going, and then come to find out that you could have possibly been leaking information. And then
you could have been possibly leaking information. You could have been possibly leaking information. Okay. First of all, total dude. You guys, I try so hard to make sure I always am above board and never say anything inappropriate and unbecoming of a Christian man. Especially because, I know people watch this while they're cooking and hanging out and doing things around the house. And it's just, it doesn't add anything to the content, but these guys, they make it so hard. Okay. Cause I just want to lash out irrationally. Okay. Remember, this guy started off by apologizing by not apologizing. Okay. Shifting the goalpost. I just want to make it clear. I never called Joe Kent a coward. Well, he didn't even say that, actually. He said, I never called Joe Kent's military service a coward. Okay, dude. And then he goes into attacking Joe Kent again. Okay. Right on. They're whoever's paying him, they're like, bro, we do have your front-facing camera. You're going to have to keep this up. He's like, dude, you guys, I look so stupid. And he's like, yeah, you're going to look a lot worse if we get this out to the public and your wife. And he goes, so I have to double down. They're like, nah, just shift the goalpost and then double down. He's like, that's going to look pretty bad. They're like, what's going to look worse, man? This or that? He's like, okay, I'll do that.
Then what does he do? He go on Tucker Carlson show. The first thing he do when he leave is go on Tucker show. Listen to what he said. And you tell me, does this sound genuine? because I'm going to interject in areas where he contradicted himself and where everybody that's listening should ask this basic question. Why are you saying this, but P. Hegseth isn't saying it?
I think he really is hard R. Okay. Pete Hegseth is in the administration and is a war-hungry maniac. What do you expect him to say? That's like Officer Tatum being like, well, then why isn't Lindsey Graham saying anything? Why isn't Mike Huckabee or Ted Cruz saying what Joe Kent's saying? Okay. Why isn't Bibi saying anything? Bro, you couldn't be more finish the word for me. Pete Hegseth isn't going to say anything, dude. He's the head of the Department of War. What are you talking about? We're at war. Oh, you want him to come out and be like, Israel made me do it. It's just nonsensical. All right. Let's move on. Let me see. I wanted to find, here we go. Yeah. So this is yesterday, so that we know what he said. All right, let's just hear. Oh, and I can't believe I forgot it off. Guys, all right, this is such an important thing. All right, well, why is my screen doing this? Oh my goodness, man. All right, let me go here. Sorry, guys. Dan Bongino. It is so clear. They told him to leave. Remember, he resigned. He resigned and has said nothing negative about the administration, nothing critical about the Einstein files. In fact, he's doubled, tripled, quadrupled down on the administration stance. He resigned. Okay. Not because he was unhappy, not because he didn't agree. Remember, he made some ridiculous claims like, man, I saw things in there that you can just never unsee, and it changed me, and I'll never be the same. But won't tell us what that is. And then also, it can't be in relation to the Einstein files because Einstein's dead. I've seen it all. He's dead, and he never did anything other than do things himself. He didn't have a network, and he wasn't facilitating these younger people to these creepy old men. Okay, let's compare and contrast. Okay, Joe Kent, legitimate freaking hero, resigns, writes a resignation letter stating why he resigned. And of course, he had to get who's going to do his publicity? Who is going to tell Joe Kent's story except for Joe Kent? Okay, he knew. He's a smart guy. He's been in the government. He knew that the administration, his former colleagues, and all the talking heads are going to come out immediately. They're going to get their talking points. They're going to get their list and their orders. And then everyone simultaneously is going to blast him all at the same time. Who's going to do that for Joe? Joe's got to do that for Joe. And good thing we have people like Megyn Kelly and Tucker Carlson that reached out to him and said, dude, you need to come on my show. We need to talk about this. I want to ask. And of course, Joe Kent, being an honest guy, is like, yeah, I got nothing to hide. There's certain things I won't be able to answer because it's about, classified information, ongoing investigations, things like that. I'll say what I can say. I'll be honest. And he was. Dan Bongino left literally so that he could come out and be a talking head for the administration. His first or second day back, he did an exclusive interview with President Rump. President Trump. Okay. All right. Let's hear what this guy has to say yesterday. And we can hear Dan Bongino too.
Dan Bongino goes off on Joe Kent, and I had to play it because he said it, not me. Wrote a clip.
Like I described previously, and then The other option is much darker. I mean, we still don't know what happened in Butler. We don't know what happened with Charlie Kirk. And by no means am I saying like, you know, the Israelis did this or
Stop. Here we go again. Folks, one, this is particularly disgusting because there's an ongoing trial, and I'm not going to take part in this right now because it would be unethical. However, here we go again, where I'm not saying anything. Did you hear it at the end? Did you hear it? This is the hidden knowledge scam. This is the mark of a Times Square watch salesman. You ever go to Times Square back before Rudy Giuliani cleaned it up? Hey, I got a Rolex here, $25. $25 for a Rolex. Yeah, no, it's real. I got hidden knowledge here. I'm not saying, I'm just saying. I'm not saying that there's any connect. Well, you would know. You don't think everything from murder to child pornography.
Dude,
you know something?
Why you got to say stuff like that?
I thought you're some kind of like whistleblower now. You notice how blowing the whistle on nothing? I know something, but I'm not going to say it.
All right, hold on.
Really?
Let's go to Officer Tatum.
Over and over, we got to do some context so they'll copyright us. But this is the same thing I was saying yesterday. What this guy goes to start to say some things, but he leaves out crucial points. Well, if you know more, then why don't you say it? Now we know that they're going to do it behind a paywall. Him, Candace, and Tucker are going to do a sit down behind a paywall.
Dude, it was like a 2-hour interview with him and Tucker. He didn't do anything behind a paywall. But there's certain things you can't say just on open platform. You have to do on members only. You know that. Or you got to go on Rumble. This guy's such a dishonest.
Israel. I put.
Oh, wait, hold on.
Explain that to us. But you got to pay $9.99 or something.
No, you don't.
For you to explain it to us.
Nope.
And I put my life on it. When you pay $9.99, you're gonna get back there behind that paywall, and they're not gonna be talking about nothing but Israel. I put $1,000 on it.
You're not gonna put nothing on it.
Donald Trump was given this information, and he accepted it.
Where's the part where he calls him a
Y'all
coward?
can say whatever you want. Like I'm hoping that there's some big crackdown on all these people.
Oh.
That we find out what they really been up to.
Okay.
Or somebody else is responsible for his death. Oh, okay. Well, what else you believe? Erica Kirk is somebody. Okay. What else you believe? 9/11 was, okay. No, 9/11 was crooked. I'm talking about 9/11 from the Jews. What else you believe? I already can tell you what everything he believed. Next time. So y'all know I'm not fluffing.
You are fluffing, dude. 9/11, the real 9/11, and this 9/11, all of it is Philly's got their fingers all over it, bro. All right, let's see. Have you guys seen this? This is Vance Kirk 2028. They have their own spot. Go look it up. I didn't want to put my information down at the bottom. I bet they'll find out who I am, but I'm not going to give them a head start. That's for sure. All right, let's see. All right. There is, let me get to the next one. Hold up. Is this the one? That's the long form one. I just want the shorter clip of it. There we go. All right. Let's listen to Megan and Joe Kent.
Some things on Tucker that obviously caught my attention around Charlie Kirk. And I'm very, very interested in your thoughts on this because you suggested that there are viable leads that might suggest government involvement somehow around his assassination. You're not saying that there was proof, but that there were leads you would have liked to have pursued that were left dangling and that you were shut down from pursuing. And I wonder if you can expand on that.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, look, I'm not saying that there was like smoking gun evidence of a government involvement. NCTC's role was to look to see if there's any foreign involvement. Now that could be government or that just could be foreigners themselves. And all I can really truly say is that there were additional leads that we needed to run down and fully investigate. And that's just simply was not done. Basically, from the time that Tyler Robinson turned himself in and was arrested, and his fingerprints were found on the rifle, they being the FBI, said, "Hey, this is now going to go over to the Utah law enforcement, and we are not investigating anything further." And there was a lot of back and forth about that because there were still, and again, not just my opinion, in the opinion of the National Counterterrorism Center, there was other leads for us to run down. And I even spoke with members of the FBI or kind of at the ground level, and they agreed with me. We wanted to continue to investigate. And so all I can say with authority right now is that there were additional leads for us to run down. And I think it's very, very simple. Like right now, we're hearing that, hey, it's a slam dunk case. And I don't doubt that it might be a slam dunk case against Robinson. That's going to play out in the court of law. However, we do know that there was people who were posting about, Charlie Kirk being killed before Charlie Kirk was killed. So we do know there are other people here who had some prior knowledge. I find it hard to believe that, multiple people predicted Charlie's death at UVU that day. I mean, if it was just one or two, maybe that's a coincidence. Maybe they're, someone.
And Renita Sophia, thank you for putting that in there. Yeah. So it obviously, so those of you that didn't see what she said, the Vance Kirk 2028 website was registered on 9/12/2025. So it's not because a lot of people are rewriting history and they're like, yeah, that was because Charlie and JD were going to run together. Okay. Charlie was dead on 9/12. Explain that to me. And then explain that to me why Rob McCoy, Mikey McCoy, Frank Turek, and all these people, Tyler Boyer is coming out. They're all coming out like Erica was going to be president. She always knew it. Charlie always knew it. He always said it. I'm not giving up on the Vance Kirk ticket. Like, come on, guys. And the Charlie Kirk is alive theory people are like, this doesn't look suspicious to any of you. This isn't a clear possible motive, at least one of the many, many motives of why they got him out of the way. Yeah. All right. We got 128 people in here and we got 84 likes. Come on, peeps. Hit the like. Boop. Please hit the like.
Who always posts something similar to that. But that to me is just one of the biggest gaps that remains. And maybe the FBI is out looking at that right now. It's been several months now, and we just don't see that happening. I know that the scope that we had of foreign involvement, we did not get an opportunity to run down all of those potential leads. And I think Charlie Kirk deserves justice. And I think people deserve the truth about what happened on that day. And I'm not saying, I'm not alluding and saying, I know what the truth is. I'm not trying to be cryptic. What I'm saying is that there were things that we still needed to investigate that were not investigated.
Can you say whether they involved Israel?
Not specifically. I mean, but there is, like you mentioned, the text messages that Andrew Colbert was talking about. There was pro-Israeli donors who were heavily pressuring Charlie to not platform anyone who was critical of Israel. And Charlie was probably one of the most vocal advocates for not going to war with Iran. I mean, he was lobbying the president, and he was a very influential advisor to President Trump. He had the ability to go into the Oval Office and have a candid and frank discussion with President Trump. He had phone conversations with him. I mean, Charlie was probably instrumental in getting President Trump elected in 2024. And Charlie was very vocal against us going to war with Iran. He eventually said, okay, fine, Midnight Hammer, unlimited strike, and then we're done. We're not going to go back for a regime change. But he was continuing to speak out against the influence that the Israelis had on our foreign policy in the Middle East, in particular, this push to take us off to war with Iran. So I think that has to be looked at, the amount of pressure that Charlie Kirk was under from the donors, but then also his influence with President Trump, and the fact that the Israeli lobby really relied heavily on getting into that immediate.
So for those of you that don't know, he met his wife, his former wife here. She's in a Navy uniform here. She, when he moved to special operations, somewhere in his military career, and that's where they had met and got married and had 2 kids. And she was one of the last people, one of the stay behind groups in Syria before everyone was removed, and she was killed in Syria. Okay. And that's her, and that's their kids. He's since been remarried, and he is still remarried. But this is the kind of person, and I'm pretty sure this is a flag from her burial. You get that. But yeah, it's just so sad what they're trying to do to him.
Ecosystem to influence President Trump. I think that can't be overlooked. Now, I'm not saying that like is a smoking gun. I'm not
Right.
saying that means really anything. I'm just saying that needs to be considered
Yeah.
into the Charlie Kirk investigation, but also to where we are right now as a country and what we're doing in the Middle East.
Yep.
Would that have been your job, Joe, to consider that piece or Kash Patel's?
His.
A combination, but if there is foreign involvement, that's where the National Counterterrorism Center comes in, because we have more robust and broad authorities to investigate the foreign angle. The FBI has the more broad and robust authorities to investigate the domestic angle.
Yep.
So who has the ability to shut you down from that?
So really, the way it happened was initially it was just like, hey, the FBI says you guys can't look into the case file, and when the case file is kind of where all the data is. And you're done. You guys can't work here anymore. You guys can't work on this case anymore. We argued that we should still be involved in that case, and we won the argument. We got kind of put back on the case. But then after
that's key. All right. They tried initially to shut them out, shut them down, and then the NCTC and Joe Kent and his team argued for their point. Why they should still be involved, they should still have access, and they should still be investigating foreign involvement. In order for that to have been upheld, right, and overturned, Kash Patel and FBI's previous, shutting them down, they would have had to produce something to show that they had leads, that they had a reason to be involved, because initially they got shut down, and then they continued to argue, and then they were given access again. They don't just re-give someone access. They won their case. They pleaded their case, and Joe Kent and the NCTC was given access again and was allowed to continue looking at their leads and fully investigate foreign ties. And we know he wasn't looking at like random governments. He was looking at Philly, guys. So there was something there for him to look at Philly, for them to reinstate his ability to look into the case. And then let's hear how they got shut down a second time.
While the government has a great way of making things just die in process. And so essentially all of our requests, our ability to investigate, it was cut off. Our requests to investigate were kind of taken away and sort of died in the process. So I'm sure someone at some point in the government's going to come out and say, no, we're still looking into all leads in the Charlie Kirk case. But this is how you kill things in the government. You just let them die in this never-ending coordination process or requests that go unanswered. That's kind of where we're at. But the DOJ and the FBI was instrumental in saying that, hey, we're done investigating Charlie Kirk. And they'll tell you, hey, everything's with Utah now because there's this ongoing trial against Tyler Robinson.
And keep in mind, so he did 20 years in the Army. Then he went and worked as like a military case manager or advisor for the CIA. And then he went into and got a job working for this administration as the head of the NCTC. This guy knows how the government works. He's been on the military side. He's been in the intelligence side. And then he was the head of the NCTC for the last year and a half. If anyone knows how things die and how they work, Joe Kent would know.
But what about, I mean, you mentioned putting a foreign government to the side. You mentioned the people who communicated about clearly Charlie's murder prior to the murder. We pulled just a couple of those just to recap it for the audience, where we saw communications pulling it, an online friend of Twigs, that was the boyfriend of the shooter, who goes by Churbum75, wrote, Charlie Kirk deserved that shit. Let it die, with a photo of Kirk. We fucking did it. He said. Another account by someone who goes.
She's reading a text. So supposedly one of the Discord chats, the online communications between supposedly Tyler Robinson, Twigs, and this group.
By Osama bin Tezuka 5 days before the shooting on 9/5. Charlie was killed on 9/10. You guys, I have something big coming soon. Just be sure to check the news. You'll know it when you see it. Emoji giving a wink. The day of the shooting at 4:52 p.m. Well, that's another Chud bites the dust. X account called Mushy, but the first Kirk tweet by this guy was September 3rd. It would be funny if someone like Charlie Kirk got shot on September 10th, LMAO, followed up by another one on September 11th. Did I, or did it? So that's just a few, Joe, that we could keep going. There were many, many, many. And would that be now that Utah's in the lead, wouldn't that still be an FBI investigation to figure out whether those people had advance notice and were part of, the sort of trans Tifa? That's the allegation, that these people are sort of members of this trans community or trans furry community, and that they knew and possibly participated and maybe helped. So would that be FBI typically, or would that be Utah?
By and large, it'd be the FBI, unless you can prove right away that those individuals were posting right from Utah. But in order to do that, there's a whole process of subpoenaing the social media platform, et cetera. But usually that's the FBI, just because they have the most robust tools and they're used to doing it. And again, Charlie Kirk was high profile enough that there was a case to be made that this could be in the federal purview. So look, like I said, there's still lots of unanswered questions. And from where I was in the investigation, especially looking at the foreign ties, we were stopped, and there's still work that needs to be done there.
That's disturbing.
Yeah, it surely is. One of the things too, you guys, I don't know what's going on. I don't want to think of like these, conspiratorial. But most of the lives have had X amount of people, especially Fridays have been the bigger turnout, like 300 on the regular, some pushing up around 4. These are some things I've noticed. People will subscribe and then it automatically unsubscribes someone, which is so bizarre. And so if you're new and you subscribed recently, make sure you go back and check that. It's like unsubscribing people. It's unnotifying people. People are saying I haven't been getting notified about the lives. I don't know. It could just be happening randomly. I don't think YouTube knows about me. I'm definitely not like Baron or Candace or anyone. But just pay attention to that. I've noticed there's no one else doing a live really right now. No one else that our community would really be in their live. And yet it's a smaller group tonight, which is fine by me. But just pay attention to whether or not you're being notified about the lives in advance. And if you're new to the community and you just recently subscribed, I would go back and check it later and just make sure that you still are subscribed, because YouTube's been weird. And then after this, there was there's another channel that I'm not going to show the image, but we're going to listen to a person that called in, and it wasn't really like a debate, but we're going to listen to this person's attempt to argue the FedSlop narrative. And then I'm going to stop it as it goes. And I'm going to tell you what the actual, well, my opinion, but the facts that I think that we know them to be. And that's what we're going to do after this.
I know I've been told by Kash Patel directly that they are looking into that trans Tifa element, but it's been 6 months now and there have been no additional arrests, and it really wouldn't take 6 months to figure out who these people were and to interview them and to, potentially establish a link if there were one. It's an awfully great coincidence if they weren't involved. I mean, these people have predictive powers that we should all be consulting them on the stock market daily. Because they had the exact date and they had the exact manner that he would be shot and killed with. And there were multiple of them predicting that it would happen. So extremely disturbing.
Yeah, but the thing is, you guys, Discord, anything online, can be fabricated. The government has backdoors. DARPA created the internet. Holy smokes. And I don't remember, has anyone seen the Discord chat, images or pictures of them or the actual chat? I've seen rewriting of them. I've seen the supposed, they're talking about them in the charging documents, a lot of which the state has used and claimed as evidence. We haven't seen the actual evidence of it. And it needs to have the metadata. We need to be able to know that and how do we know that it was Tyler Robinson on the other side of the keyboard, or that it wasn't someone logging in from DC or Philly into his profile and writing that? How do we know that? And that's what's insane. So many people are just like hook, line, and just completely believing this as if like this information, this stuff can't be fabricated. It totally can. Oh my goodness. There we go. Wait, am I sharing this one? Nope. Yep. Hold on. I don't know why I didn't hit a button, but it said I did. Stop it. There we go.
To say the least. International disputes.
I think that was it. Let's see. Yep, that was it. All right. Now, let's listen. You guys want to see? I love it when I pause on like Andrew's funny face. You guys see that? I'm going to leave it up. Let me make it big for a second. So everyone, this is Andrew Colvett. It cracks me up. I crack myself up. Okay, this is a side. He came out again and is attacking Joe Kent. Let's hear what he has to say.
Talking in the break.
Oh, that's loud.
About your read on the hearings so far. So
because remember yesterday it was like something Marlowe. This is somebody else today attacking Joe Kent with Andrew Colvett and Blake Schneef.
let's start there. You watch the back and forth with Rand Paul and Mark Wayne Mullen. You have a relationship with Rand Paul. I think that's fair to say.
Hold on, this was about the hearings, but let me see if they talk about.
He has Sean O'Brien there as a character.
No.
Beat him up.
A lot of people are saying
the
that.
hospital.
There are a lot of other senators' skin, and there's a lot of scar tissue.
Candace
And Mark Levin, by the way.
And
hold on.
Yesterday we talked about this thing I'm so focused on as a reporter, which is what if Charlie were still here? And I have to say,
hold on.
That's like USA Today. That's a perfectly good one.
Yeah, that's pretty tame for them. Exactly.
Yeah. It's interesting that Joe Kent had this job because no one who's followed his career or dealt with him is the least bit surprised that he would quit and that he would quit over this.
Wait, what? Mark Halperin. Are you serious? Editor-in-chief of Two Way. You guys, being in the military is hard. Okay? Making it through a full enlistment of 4 years, a standard enlistment, and making it to the end with an honorable discharge is hard. It's not easy because they own you. And dude, you get in trouble for the stupidest stuff. You could be like, UA, unauthorized absence from like being late, depending on your job. On certain days, you can't leave the base like an hour or so or 30 minutes past the base. You have to be within like a 30-minute or an hour driving radius of the base. And if you're on call and they call you and you don't make it back in time, you could be charged with UA. You could be, an NJP, non-judicial punishment. You could be busted down. You could get, not letters of recommendation, but the opposite. I forget what the military jargon is for that right now. To not be promoted. You can get other than honorable discharge. You drunk in Publix, DUIs. Not necessarily like you're a bad person, but you're a young dude who joined the military, and you're like, you have money coming in, not a lot, but like more than working at McDonald's. And you have these decisions and this freedom, and it's not easy. And you want to quit sometimes. It's like really freaking hard. Some of the most hard things you'll ever do in your life, demanding. Some of your superiors are just so horrible, that you have to work for some of the most horrible people. Sometimes you get good superiors, and then it makes it harder when when I got to my duty station, I had the best superiors, right? I had a Sergeant Ryan, Staff Sergeant Clark. These guys really, really cared about our unit, our Marines. And it was like such a blessing to work for them. But then when they're when their contract was up and they were either due to re-enlist, and then you usually go to a new duty station, or you do a lap move and you go to a different MOS, or you get out and then you work in whatever your equivalent job in the civilian sector is. Well, both of them got out at the same time. And we got these horrible influx of superiors that were lap movers from other MOSs and didn't really know like the culture and like the fabric of us. And it just ruined everything. And it was a nightmare to work for these people. And so really the first year of my enlistment, it was great. And then after that, it was freaking horrible. And it made, you're with these people all the time. It's like prison. It's crazy, thank goodness then I got changed towards the end of my enlistment, and I was at a good command at the end. But it's not easy. This guy's saying that Joe Kent's a quitter. Bro made it 20 years. Give me a break. In Green Beret, Special Forces in the Army, did 11 combat tours, 7 or 8 Bronze Stars. Okay. Lost his wife, didn't say screw the military, screw the government, screw the United States, even though it was part of the government's fault how they didn't pull out and messed up the pull out of Syria, and why his wife was ultimately killed. Not a quitter at all. Not one quitting bone in his body. He didn't even want to quit this. Okay. He tried everything he could to affect change from within the NCTC. And when he realized that he couldn't, he said, and he said this publicly so many times. He said, I promised myself if I was ever in a position of leadership and we were ever in a situation like Iraq, Afghanistan, or Syria again, and there was the next generation of young men and women being asked and sent to a foreign war, he promised himself then, I would do what so many didn't do. And so many that did do it during Iraq and Afghanistan, their careers were ruined. If you spoke up, your career was ruined. Good as done. And he promised himself, I would try to make a difference if this were ever the case and I was in a position of leadership. Well, here he is. And here's this war. And he tried to affect change from within. It didn't work. And he's like, I'm not going to stand by and do nothing. I'm out. Because, silence is complicity, right? Like if I just stay here and they're not listening to me, they're shutting me down, it's going to look like I went along with this. I'm not. Here's my resignation. I'm going to get out and try to make a difference on the outside. That's not a quitter, dude. And this guy, who I bet you has never served a day in his life. Look at this pudgy, soft marshmallow man, Mark Halperin. These soft little men, these little boys like Andrew Colvett, Blake Neff, Marlowe from yesterday, and this guy attack Joe Kent, call him a quitter. It's so disgusting, these people, man.
I think all the time. I had Ralph Reed on my show on Next Up yesterday. We talked about this thing I'm so focused on as a reporter, which is, what if Charlie were still here? And I have to say, I think Charlie would have been proud yesterday of Team MAGA for mobilizing so quickly with very few fingerprints to make it clear to not just to Kent, who's going on with Tucker and maybe with Candace.
And Mark Levin, by the way.
And Mark Levin, but to other people.
Charlie hated Mark Levin. Are you kidding me? Charlie said the thing he didn't want was regime change. Regime change is a bad idea.
Who are thinking of quitting over the war, your public vociferous opposition will not be unchallenged and will not be cost-free to make. Very effective. Maybe not stopping Kent from doing stuff, but now anybody else who wants to do what Kent did is going to have to think twice, and that was the goal of yesterday. And I think they were pretty effective in doing it.
Oh, so the goal was to attack Joe and scare people that were going to defect and speak out against this, because now they are saying that he's a leaker, and now there's an FBI investigation into Joe Kent. And Mark Halpin says it's effective. Now people are going to think twice. Yeah, the government has become the one thing that we all have been afraid of for forever. It's going to start arresting and having political prisoners for people that speak up and stand up for the people. Awesome. And you are part of the problem, Mark.
Yeah, well, let's play some of the clips. I think SOT 1, this Dan Bongino criticizing the move.
Yeah, we're not going to listen to Dan. That guy's such a tool. Let's see.
It's murky. I think there's no doubt that the administration and maybe Dan there is overstating echoes of the Bush weapons of mass destruction claims. They're overstating it. Almost every expert would say they are. I think it's a bit of a distraction, though, because for decades, presidents of both parties have said Iran must be dealt with.
Yeah, but man, they've never been weeks or months away from a nuclear bomb. And on top of that, we bombed them back into the Stone Age, back in the 12-day war. Okay. So what are you talking about? So this guy works for TPUSA. He's been doing campus tours with Frank Turek. This guy over here. What's his name? I don't remember his name. Oh, TPUSA Faith Director. What's his name, though? Okay. I guess his name's not really that important. We could look it up later. But so he's going to attack everyone that's come out and said that, oh, and this is Project Constitution. He's the one that posted this. There's that. They're attacking the claims that Charlie Kirk was going to and on his way to becoming Catholic.
Yep, and others who have been, I think, posting about, these kind of speculations about Charlie was converting to Catholicism. Yep had mentioned in, I think, a couple interviews that he had connected with Father Klein and talked to him about, Charlie's faith. Well, I spoke to Father Klein, and Father Klein, as stated in my a tweet that I put out there on X, that he had concern that some of the prior comments that he had made had been misconstrued by figures, in the media. And
so that didn't deny it, guys. Father Klein had concerns that some of the comments had been misconstrued. He didn't come out and say it's a lie. Anyway, it's not like Yep isn't going to come out and lie. Candace isn't lying about it either. So many people have come out and confirmed that he was converting to Catholicism. Okay. This guy's the head of TPUSA Faith, which is an evangelical organization that's pro-Philly, pro-Trump. He's got to do this. It's disgusting that he's doing it, but we know the motivation.
I think that includes, what we saw Yep put out there. Charlie did have a relationship with Father Klein. They were friends. They spent time together. I think he was a confidant for Charlie in many ways. And Father Klein spoke very highly of Charlie. But look, I spoke to Father Klein directly, and I asked him, was Charlie converting? And Father Klein went out of his way to say Charlie Kirk did not convert to Catholicism. He had never expressed interest in converting to Catholicism. He had never started taking OCIA classes, which are the adult classes to convert to Catholicism.
No, he hadn't started, but he was signed up. That's what Yep said. That he hadn't started, but he was signed up.
Nor did he sign up for any classes or have any classes scheduled or express interest in signing up for those classes.
Well, that's not true. But he was signed up.
And nor did Erica and Charlie have their marriage convalidated within the Catholic Church.
Why would they have it convalidated if it was failing and falling apart, dude? If there was issues in the marriage and it was completely crumbling, why would they be having it convalidated in the Catholic Church? If Charlie did file for divorce 4 days before, if a priest did come over and pray over their marriage, if Charlie did find out the truth about Erica Kirk, he probably really realized hardcore and fast there was no saving this. This was a deep personal issue of the very foundation, nature, and character of Erica Kirk. This isn't something that was going to be, prayed over and, fixed. He wasn't going to convince Erica the error of her ways. it was who she was. He wasn't going to be able to change that. I think that's what he realized. And I think the reality of that led him to start putting, certain things in motion. And I think when they realized that he was, completely shifting on Philly, on the war in Iran, leaving the evangelical church, moving to Catholicism, wanting Candace and Tucker to be on his shows, probably thinking about starting a different organization, leaving TPUSA and becoming Catholic. And if they're accessing his text messages and all of his private communications like they've been doing with Tucker, and probably so many others, bro, come on. They had everything they needed to be like, bro, we got to do this, and we got to do this like now. Yeah. All right. So I'm going to leave my face on because what I don't want to do is we're just going to listen. It's just an audio, and then I'm going to pause it as we go. Okay, hold on. And we're going to listen to it, and then I'm going to tell you, I guess, the truth. Yeah. All right. Let's listen.
So what I believe is we don't know exactly what happened just yet. We won't know exactly what happened until the trial rolls around. And, the reason being is the only people.
All right. So this guy's name is James May. He's on X. He did I guess, kind of debate. It's not really a debate. This is him saying why he believes in the Fed slop narrative. Okay.
That are entitled to this information at this current stage are the prosecution and the defense. Now, everybody's saying, why don't they just release everything? Why don't they just release everything? That's not how cases work.
No one's saying that, dude. No one's asking the court, the prosecution, and the defense to do anything that they aren't supposed to do. No one's saying like they need to release everything. All of us know how it works. They can't. What we're arguing is that everything that's in the public domain, everything that's been reported, everything that was gathered in the first 33 hours by the time that they arrested Tyler Robinson, all of that is public. That is the crux and the foundation of the case. The FBI is the one that gathered all that, gave it to the state of Utah in a little bow, and then walked away. So that's everything that got, Tyler Robinson arrested, charged with this murder, and is on trial for the death penalty. So everything that's in the public record was enough to get all that done. But everything that's in the public record is complete nonsense, and none of it makes sense.
Court works. Like, people think that just because you want something, you get something. That's not how court works. Just because you ask for a court document doesn't mean you're going to get the court document. Just because you ask for the evidence doesn't mean you're going to get the evidence. This happens in divorces. This happens in child abuse situations, things like that. So, we're not going to have everything right now, but it will be presented in trial. So, having said all that, what we do know is that Tyler Robinson has confessed 4.5 times.
No, he hasn't. No, he hasn't. So I am convinced this dude is a Fed in some degree, shape, or form. Okay. And as we're doing this, guys, as the Fed slop narrative is being, spelled out, if you guys have a question, throw it up in a super and I'll answer it. I do know this case really well. He's never confessed. That's one of the things they've said. Okay. He didn't even confess in the Discord. I don't think those chats that were written, those AI text messages between him and Lance Twiggs, that's not him, dude. It's not even a kid. It's a girl or it's an AI. I don't know, but it's not a young dude by any means. He didn't confess to his parents. He didn't confess on the Discord. The Discord, they're talking about a picture and he says, yeah, that's me. And that's it. He's never confessed to this. Remember, they said that in the beginning. They're like, he confessed. And we're like, oh, he confessed. And then they get in and then they're like, he's not cooperating. I thought he confessed. What? No. Oh, he didn't confess. Okay. Oh, he turned himself in. That's what they mean. So they say he confessed, but really he just turned himself in because they knew, parents and that LDS member that was a former cop knew that the state of Utah and the FBI was looking for him and that they were trying to pin this on him. And they're like, dude, they're going to get you and you might die if you don't just turn yourself in. And they're like, just come to us. We'll help you turn in publicly and safely so that there's witnesses and they can't just SWAT you. You don't want to die by suicide. I mean, by cop. Whoa, I almost said that word again. Just kidding. But yeah, he didn't confess. So there's that.
And my good friend Kelly has pointed out that he implied to his parents that he had, killed Charlie. So 4.5 times. So the Discord.
He never implied to his parents that he had done anything to Charlie. Never happened.
Messages, the text message, the written note. People say the written note doesn't exist. Lance.
Yeah, there is no written note. There is a supposed picture of a written note, which we don't even know if that exists. So, yeah.
Took a picture of the note, and I'm pretty sure that'll be admitted into court.
This guy's so sure everything's going to come out in court. You guys, this guy trusts the system so much. I don't trust this guy.
Implied it to his parents.
I thought he confessed. Now, no, he implied it. Okay, he implied it. Okay.
Am I missing some of them?
Yeah, everything.
So anyway, 4.5 times. I can run them down later on, but 4.5 times he's confessed.
No.
His DNA is on the gun.
Nope, 5 people's DNA is on the gun. And his DNA would be on his family heirloom gun. It would be on the gun from every other time he's ever gone hunting or handled the gun because it's been in his family since his grandfather. So that's not proof that that gun was on that roof, on the Losi Center roof on September 10th, and that he was on the roof with that gun, and that the DNA and the fingerprints that are on that gun are from that day. Doesn't prove that at all.
People have said that his DNA is mixed with 5 other people.
It is.
That's fine.
Why is that fine? Oh, my goodness. Why is that fine?
It's, an heirloom gun that's been admitted by the parents.
So he can admit that it's an heirloom gun. It's admitted by the parents being an heirloom gun, but he can't follow the logical next reason that, of course, if his DNA would be on the gun from being an heirloom, so would his fingerprints. And that means it could be on the gun from any other day in his whole life before September 10th.
So, of course, other people's hands are going to be on the gun. All we need to prove is that he has access to the gun.
No. You have to prove that he not only had access, but that he took that specific gun up onto the Losi Center roof on September 10th, laid down on the roof, put bullets in the chamber, loaded them, and fired a shot, and that exact bullet that left the barrel of that gun is the same bullet that hit the neck of Charlie Kirk. That is the burden you have to prove. And well, this guy doesn't have to prove, but the prosecution. And that does not exist because it didn't happen.
We have his DNA on the gun. We have fingerprints on the ledge. We have fingerprints on the...
Nope, there's no fingerprints on the ledge. That was something that was reported in the beginning. It's not even in the charging documents.
Gun. Once again, doesn't necessarily mean that he was there, but when you start scaffolding it with other things, it starts to make sense in regard to him being the killer.
No.
We also have evidence and video of him walking up the stairs.
Oh, you mean the pictures of the kid that's not him, that's wearing the eagle on his shirt with the black long sleeve shirt, the pants with the cell phone in the pocket, with the black backpack, the black hat, the black glasses, but there's sunglasses, but there's no Mauser in his pant leg. There's no Mauser in his backpack. That photo's not time stamped. It doesn't say what day or what time that picture was taken. Not to mention that person has different ears, different eyebrows, different forehead, different lips, different everything. That person is not Tyler Robinson whatsoever. Here, you guys want to do a side-by-side? Let's see. Well, let's see. All right, so let me get the most clear image of this guy. What is the best one? All right, we'll go with this one to start. Okay. First of all, there is no way his parents look. Oh my gosh, that's just my face. Okay. There's no way his parents looked at this and were like, "That's my son." There's just no way. Number one, okay, and number two. Let's see. Okay, when you look at Tyler Robinson, first of all, he's much lighter skin color. Okay, that person is much tanner. This is from that 33-hour period when he gets arrested. Okay, you can see his ears, look at his lips, his nose, look at how his forehead goes back, his chin, all right? When you pay attention to all these things, all right, you can see a good picture here as well. Look at how his forehead kind of is slanted back. His ears don't have earlobes. They go straight from the ear into the cheek. He has really, really full lips, very strong jaw and chin, which kind of is set back. Now, let's look at this guy. Okay, you can't, man, this is just such not a good photo. We need better photos. Man, I know we had clear photos at one point. I'm trying to look at the rest of them, like which ones are even clearer. Because I remember we could see the ears. I can't tell on this one. But I remember earlier on, there was more. Let me go back and let's see. Let's exit out of this. Let's see. This one? Here we go. Yeah. Yeah, this is not Tyler Robinson at all. This is not Tyler Robinson. Okay. It's just not. Okay. Hold on. Sorry, guys. Let me exit out. Boom. No. Okay. And so remember, things were reported early on. It's not in the charging documents. It is part of the false narrative and the lies that they told us. Just like that black rifle that they showed us and said was the rifle they recovered that's in that picture and it's in the box. Let me show you which one I'm talking about. This one right here. This is not Tyler Robinson's grandpappy's rifle. Okay. This is a modern rifle. Okay. That is 30-06 caliber, similar modern version. This is just a random picture that the news pulled off the internet and was like, yeah, it's a rifle like this. It's a hunting rifle like this. That's what they the parents supposedly looked at this and were like, that's my son's my grandfather's rifle. No, nope, nope. And that's why all of the information that they've used to claim Tyler Robinson's connection to this murder and this event, albeit either the pictures supposedly of him on the roof or walking up the stairwell, that his parents saw that and were like, that's my son. No. That they saw this rifle and they're like, that's my dad's rifle. That's his grandfather's rifle. No, it's not. So you want to see what a actual World War II or World War I like original Mauser? Let's see. It would look like this. This is what it would look like. Similar. It would look similar to it would look more like this than that black one, but this is still a modern one. Let's see. Let me go to a really old school one, and it wouldn't have a scope. That's the other thing. Let's go. So, yeah, something more like either this. Okay. Something like that. It's definitely not going to look like the one that they are claiming. Okay. All right. So that's what this guy just keeps repeating the BS narrative, and it's insane. No, it doesn't. Remember, so supposed images of him walking to the site are all of those Ring doorbell camera footage from the Lyman's family's neighborhood, none of which are clear. You cannot tell who that is. You can't. All you can make out is a rough age. It's a Caucasian male. It may be his early 20s, mid 20s, and then you can roughly determine, okay, he's wearing shorts. These are the kind of tennis shoes, the color shirt, and a hat and a backpack. That's it. There is no way to determine that that is a specific person. You don't even really have a picture of him in the car. You have a camera, you have video of his car. His windows are tinted. You can't really tell who's in the front seat. You can just tell that's his car. So no, you don't. So remember, a mountain. It's a mountain of evidence. It's such a mountain. He forgets any of it. And Lance Twiggs would have had access if that grandpappy's rifle was in the apartment there. Lance Twiggs would have had access. Lance Twiggs would have had access to the keys to the car, would have had access to a towel that would have had his DNA on it. There were FBI or federal agents that seemingly were visiting the house in the weeks leading up to the assassination. People in the neighborhood reported this, that there was a lot of odd behavior and activity there with, more elder, like grown men and in what looked to be federal agents frequenting the house. They would have had access to the house to put things, this note under the keyboard, to take pictures, to grab the rifle, grab, the towel that end up at the scene, randomly after the FBI shows up. No, you know. Nope. No. What do you guys bet he's going to say? You need to have evidence. What do you guys think? You think he's going to say, in order to make these claims, you better have proof? Sound like Gary? Sound like Frank Turek? You got to have evidence. Got to have proof. Sound like Fedslop? Sure does. Okay. We could ask him if the burden of evidence is the same in which he's required to say that there's a case against Tyler Robinson. Then, I mean, I could just, take a picture of Philly and a picture of like Charlie in Philly, a picture of Charlie, next to BB. I could just randomly create things and be like, look at that. This means he, was under attack. None of the evidence they have against Tyler is evidence either. So I don't know what they're talking about. Oh, there it is. Cooling towards. Cooled. All right. So that's the point. The point is there is no case against Tyler Robinson. There's just not. So there's that. Yeah. Let's see. Let's see if there's any schmoopers. We do. Yay. Sonia. Hi. Thank you. I look forward to every episode. Thank you, Sonia. Let's see. Wait, I always wanted to ask, Sonia, did you know me from a long time ago? Like right when I was in the Marine Corps, before I got out of the Marine Corps, right after? I feel like I remember you. All right, let's see. We got Geach Marie. No way he had a large gun down his pants. No, he didn't. That's the thing. So I pulled up a measuring tape. That rifle is 42 to 45 inches long. I'm 6 feet tall. It goes up under my armpit and like touches the ground. Okay. That's when it's fully put together. The other thing is because of the era of the rifle, and this is why I don't even know why. I don't know, man. You can't take it apart with a screwdriver. You can't break it down with a screwdriver. It's not a modern rifle. And you can't even take apart like a lot of modern rifles with just a screwdriver. It's like, you can't. And you would need like a vise, like a gun vise, in order to disassemble like a 1900 era Mauser. And you couldn't even do it on a roof in like 10 seconds anyway. So there's that. And even if he did take it apart, he's going to have two pieces that are 22 to 25. One's like 22, one's like 25. It's around there, inches long each. And they're heavy. This is made in 1900s. It's not composite materials. It's not like part rubber, part plastic. It's like solid metal and solid wood. Okay. This thing's heavy. It's not going to be in his pants. It's not stuck down his shirt. It's not going to fit in a backpack at all. Okay. And remember, so they show you him limping that in the neighborhood. He's still bending his knee. You wouldn't be able to bend your knee at all. You'd have a 20-something inch like metal rod in your pant leg. You wouldn't bend it at all. Not even a little. He's bending it at least 25 degrees. And he'd have to have it down both legs. His pants, the person's pants in that stairwell photo is so tight, you can see the outline of his iPhone in his pocket. And he bends both of his knees in the stairwell. Okay. Going down and going up, he bends them in separate images, left and right. Okay. So it's not in the backpack. Okay. This is what the human brain does. They get, it wants to solve puzzles. It fills in information that they don't give you, and it tries to make sense of it. And then we don't really consciously realize that like a lot of the information we filled in, they've never said. So where's the rifle in that photo that I shared of the guy with the eagle on his shirt walking down the steps and then up the stairwell? Where's the rifle? They want you to fill in. It's in the backpack. because you could see that he bends his legs. It's not in his pants. They don't say that it's in the pants. They don't say that it's in the backpack. They've implied it was in the pants in the Phil Lyman neighborhood when he's walking because he's limping. And they've implied that's where the rifle is. It's in his pants. That's why he's limping. No, it's not. He's bending his leg too much. His pants are too tight. There's just no way. He'd be straight legging it. Okay. It'd just be like, man. Not to mention, I thought it was broken down. So he'd have one in each leg. Okay. It's too big to fit in the backpack. So they never really tell us in this photo, where's the rifle? In this video, when he's in the neighborhood, where's the rifle? Remember, there's other videos of, I think, a different kid. He's wearing shorts. He's wearing shorts before the event. Where's the rifle? Oh, it's in the backpack. It's not going to fit in the backpack. Where's the rifle? Oh, he doesn't have it on him right there. They don't ever tell us, and it's not even in the charging documents, like step by step from the moment he parks his car, where they imply the rifle's with him in the car. Is it fully put together? Is it disassembled? Well, supposedly it's disassembled. Remember, because they say that he assembles it on the roof. Okay. Then he takes the shot. Then he disassembles it on the roof, even though the shot rings out at 12:23 and he's in a dead sprint, like a couple seconds after. He jumps off the roof. The video footage doesn't show him with a rifle. He's got a towel or like a sweater or something in his hand. It's like a flimsy thing. It's like shaking around. You're not going to hold like a freaking 10-pound rifle, fully put together, or two separate pieces in one hand because he hangs on the ledge. That's the ledge that they say is his fingerprints. No. That's not Tyler Robinson. Freaking Spider-Man hanging on. And then he freaking jumps down and catches himself and his butt hits the grass and he gets up and walks away and he's got a towel in his hand or a sweatshirt. He does, and he's got a backpack on. There's no rifle. Where's the rifle? They don't tell you. But then he makes it across the street into the woods and for some reason reassembles the rifle to then leave the rifle. Okay. And then changes his clothes. So he changes his clothes, reassembles the rifle, and then leaves the clothes and leaves the towel with his DNA on it. Okay. Why? So that it fits the narrative. Bro, it's just so stupid. It's insane, And the fact that there's so many people that believe it is crazy. It's just so crazy. All right. We're at 2 hours. I'm not going to play this other video. Let me read if you have anything. Let's see. Okay, we're all caught up. Let's see. Pardon. I shall not speak of. Oh, I'm not going to read that. There will be a future tort case that suffered from too much slop. You will have to prove you followed certain slop spewing creators. I like that. That's hilarious. Or prove that you didn't, kind of like some of us. Yeah, that's a whole nother thing. Yeah, never mind. We've all been fooled one time or another, whether it be 9/11, whether it be weapons of mass destruction, whether it be we signed up for the war and fought in the war, whether it be COVID. We've all fallen for a lie from the government. We all have, I have too. Yeah. So I'm just glad that enough of us are awake now that this is it's not coming out. It's not turning out the same way these other things did, where it took like one or two really brave people to be attacked like Joe Rogan did, for other people to be like, wait, this doesn't make sense. What about hydroxychloroquine? Huh? Yeah. So I need to make 3 outfit changes. I need to make 3 outfit changes and shake my hips like Mikey McCoy. I agree. My love. Yeah. Last call for supers. Mystic called it out. Last call. Let's see. Oops. Wait. All to be found by rookie FBI. Well, no. So the rookie FBI agents didn't find it. No. So the FBI. So this is how it goes down, guys. All right. The local police department goes over and searches the wooded area. Okay. They do a search line. Okay. So there's multiple cops in a line, and then they slowly walk. They go step, and you take a step, and you take a step, and you're looking like inch or, like foot by foot, step by step. And they go down and back. Nothing. All right. Maybe we missed something. Let's call the bomb sniffing dogs. The bomb sniffing dogs come. They search. They would have found it, hands down. A rifle that was fired in the last few hours, dogs would have been like, boom. They wouldn't even have like messed around. They wouldn't have been like, where is it? Where is it? They would have got out of the car and been like, boom, there it is. Okay. It would have been like easy, like that. Okay. Didn't happen. Dogs found nothing. All right. FBI shows up. FBI, they're not rookies. Okay. We don't know about their enlistment durations, how long they've been in. FBI searches the area, finds goose eggs. Then those same FBI agents, for some reason, even though the first police search came up nilch, the bomb sniffing dogs came up nothing. They searched and came up nothing. They go over to two local, like, what is it? Not centurions, but oh my gosh, I can't think of the term. They're standing watch. These two local, between the two of them, local policemen, they have less than a year between the both of them. They're brand new. All right. They are keeping, people out of the crime scene. They got the poop end of the stick. They just have to sit there and make sure no one comes in. Well, FBI shows up, and it's FBI with the FBI jackets and the hats. And they're like, hey, what up, you guys? How long you been on the force? Oh, yeah? Both of you? You're both rookies? Okay. Well, you guys want to just go take a look over there in the woods? Tell me if you find anything. And then they find the rifle. So on the fourth sweep, these brand new rookie local cops find the rifle after FBI shows up, did their sweep, probably dropped the rifle, and then told these guys to go look for it. So that's not suspicious. Yeah. Let's see. When is the trial scheduled to start? Well, we have one more hearing in March and April, and then it's a preliminary, nothing important. But then the real first evidentiary hearing is in May, as long as it doesn't get pushed back. Okay. But the defense hasn't had time. The FBI and the state haven't given the defense any of the evidence. They haven't turned everything over yet. And that's what came up in the last hearing, that the FBI and the state have given the defense their findings, their reports, their narrative, but they haven't turned over the actual evidence for the defense to test themselves, to investigate themselves. And so, and that's kind of one of the things that came up in the last hearing was like, okay, the defense has been attacked for, dragging their feet and trying to, stall this case by, saying that the prosecution and team should be thrown out or, should recuse themselves. Well, this whole time, the FBI and the state, they haven't given the defense the evidence. And so it's scheduled the very first actual hearing where they're going to go over evidence is in May as of right now. It might get pushed back to June, but the actual very, very beginning of trial, the very first, is supposed to be like February of 27. Okay. So 27 is going to be crazy. If you're listening to any of those rabbis on X, they're saying that the Mashiach, their Jewish Mashiach, is going to come in like October of 27, right? And that's when the world's going to end and be rebuilt for them. So 27 is going to be a crazy year. It really is. Let's see. All right, let's read this one. This is so ridiculous. Somebody should make a documentary, Tyler Robinson, his success, and tell the exact story of Tyler, how this all can't be real, and try to do the same in the time and do the same in the time way, Mauser. I don't know. Yeah, hopefully we do. Wait, what happened to 9/11? Like, real? Like 9/11, 2001? Well, JT, go to Tucker Carlson. I mean, you can go watch Loose Change documentary. You can go look at Tucker Carlson's 5-part series on 9/11. Yeah. Okay, I can easily prove I haven't watched Jesse. I know that. Well, I've watched him, but I've watched him to gather intel because he's such a little man. He's supposed to be debating Blake. Blake's kind of, disappeared. Hopefully he's doing good. But then Jesse, he gave himself an out. He's like, but we shouldn't call it a debate because I'm 100% positive I'm right. And there's no way you're going to change my mind. Like, okay, so you're not open-minded and you're not in pursuit of truth. You're just in pursuit of spouting your theory that you don't have any proof of, but it's just a theory. But if I brought stuff to you that's facts and it changed your theory, you wouldn't adopt it and change your theory? No, because I'm not interested in truth. That's Jesse. That's how you know he's not a good person. Just found the Loose Change Final Cut DVD at the thrift store for 50 cents. Yeah, good, American Lynn. I have it. You want to know what's crazy, you guys? Okay, so check this out. In the Marine Corps, I was an aircraft rescue firefighter. It used to be called Crash Fire Rescue, and then they're like, we don't like the word crash in our title because that's not a good image. So we're going to rename, and that happened while I was in like 2006. It got renamed from CFR, Crash Fire Rescue, to ARF, Aircraft Rescue Firefighters. Okay. While I was at the Fire Academy in San Angelo, Texas, at Goodfellow Air Force Base in 2006, because I was in boot camp December 2005. I graduated March 2006. Then you go to MCT, you go on leave, and then you get your orders cut and you go to your school, your MOS school. And mine was in San Angelo, Texas at Goodfellow Air Force Base. It's the Fire Academy for all branches. So like joint branch. So like Army's there, Navy's there, Air Force is there, Marine Corps is there. While I was there, I watched the Loose Change. I think it was when I was there, or it's right when I got to my duty station. It was either in 2006 or 2007. I'd have to look in when it came out. But here's the thing. So when I'm at the Fire Academy as an aircraft rescue firefighter, you learn about like the fuel, what it burns at. You learn about steel. Because I had my structural firefighting certification. I had Firefighter 1, Firefighter 2, Hazmat, Ops and Awareness, and then hazardous materials operations and awareness certification, and then you have your aircraft rescue firefighting certification. And so it just so happens that you learn about like high grade steel. What does it melt at? What would it take to structurally weaken a building like the Twin Towers? What does jet fuel burn at? You learn all these things, and then you watch Loose Change and you're like, holy smokes. that's actually correct. What the heck is going on? And so you watch Loose Change. You're in the military as an aircraft rescue firefighter with a very unique training, education, and experience in aircrafts, in fuel, in buildings, in firefighting, because I had the same training as the firefighters that went up that building. I had a structural firefighting certification, Firefighter 1, Firefighter 2. I had my wildland card. But then on top of that, I had my hazardous materials certification, and then my aircraft rescue firefighting. So I knew a lot more than like the average civilian. And in Loose Change, it's spot on. And so I'm just telling you, it's not a conspiracy theory. There's just no way. There's no way those buildings took down Tower 1 and Tower 2. And it came down perfectly on top of itself. and there's no way Tower 7 came down. It was demolition. It's nuts. Is it on YouTube? It might be. I don't know. YouTube sucks now. Oh, I mean, YouTube's the best. There used to be so many better. There used to be a lot of amazing documentaries on YouTube. Like I noticed that 2016 and 2017, like I could still watch documentaries that were interesting. Like I remember watching a documentary in 2016 about World War II that gave a totally different alternative theory to Germany, Hitler. I mean, think about it. If you don't speak German, how do you really know what those speeches say? You're reading closed caption. You're trusting whoever translated that speech and put those words on the page. You really don't know 100% for a fact that what they're telling you his speeches said, that's what they say. You don't. I don't speak German, right? But I remember watching this one documentary that gave a different story to a lot of the speeches, and it was a German-made documentary from Germans, which it could have been lies. However, with everything that we, are experiencing ourselves with Philadelphians in our own country, it's interesting. I agree. Germany here. I agree 100%. Let's go. I agree. On my mother's side, Buckheister was my grandmother's maiden name. You want to find it on Rumble? The loose change. Yeah, I bet Rumble probably has it. You could probably put it in Google as well. Oh, you want to know another? Have you guys heard of the Corbett report? This guy hold on. This guy is really good. There's also it's called Dauntless Dialogue. You pay like a membership monthly or yearly, and it's like all these really, really interesting documentaries that you would never find anywhere else. You would never find it on YouTube, probably not even on Rumble, but wait, I don't know if the Corbett, let's see. Yeah. So you guys should also, so this guy, let me pull it up. Is this it? Let's see, videos. Hold on. Wait, podcasts. Hold on. Let me make sure. Wait, this can't be all of it because he has like really good documentaries. This guy. Oh, I don't. Okay, maybe his most recent stuff isn't as he used to do like deep. Let me pull up some of his older stuff. Let me go back. Wait, is there a way that I could go like older to newer? Hold on. I know you can't see it. Hold on. I know you're just looking at my face. Let me pull it up. Give me a second. Because it might not be his YouTube channel where you can see it, but let me type it in on Google and pull it up. But this guy, the Corbett report, yeah, let's go to oldest. So let's see. But these are really short. Yeah, these aren't his actual documentaries. Let me go to his actual web page. Let's see. Here we go. If you go to the Corbett report on Google, and then let's see, series, documentaries. There we go. Here we go. Yeah. He's got a lot. So false flags, secret. Oh, wait, you can't see this. My bad. All right. So let me start over. All right. Yeah. Now you can see it. So this is what his homepage looks like. The Corbett report. I recommend going here. These are all free. It looks like they are on YouTube. Well, this one's not. This is on Odyssey. Okay, but false flags, the secret history of Al Qaeda, the media matrix, who is Bill Gates, 9/11 whistleblowers, World War I conspiracy, such a good one. Holy smokes. 9/11 war games, 911 suspects, how big oil conquered the world is so good. I think there's a 1 and 2. Yeah, I think these are 2 parts of the same. That one's so good. 9/11 trillions fall. The money is so good. Century of enslavement, the history of the Federal Reserve. This guy, this was really good. I wish he still did documentaries to this day. He's not doing the ones like he used to do. But let's see. Let's see if I could pull up. Let me go back. Let's see if I can pull up Loose Change. Let's see. Bang. Yeah. Okay. So if you hold on. So if you type in Loose Change just into Google, all right, and then you click on videos, so it comes up right here. Loose Change 9/11, an American coup, 2009. So I must have seen it in 2009, or wait, no, so 2007, Final Cut. It's also on Apple TV, but yeah, you could even just, oh, it's on YouTube. What? It's on YouTube? All right. It's on YouTube. Jacko TV has got it. I don't want to get censored, but that one's phenomenal. Tucker Carlson, though, did, but you have to go not on his, I don't think it's on his YouTube. I had to go and like at the time pay because it came out like one a week. But he did a whole documentary, a 5-part series on 9/11. Yeah. Yeah. I got to see if I have stocks in Rumble still. Let's see. Not sure if I call it a documentary. The closest thing I got was the Trudeau. Let's see. You're welcome, Bree. Yeah, the 700 Club is, yeah, so is CBN. TBN is doing it as well. Yeah, it was so Loose Change was one of those movies that changed my whole understandings of things way back in the day. 100%, Jay, 100%. And that's why I would also say go to the Corbett Report. If you liked Loose Change, bro, oh my goodness, watch all the ones I just showed you on the Federal Reserve, on how big oil changed the world, 9/11 suspects, follow the money, the trillions. The Corbett Report did phenomenal work. I wish he still did it. It doesn't look like he's still doing stuff. I think he lives in Japan. Thank you, Mystic. Let's see. See, this is my favorite part, you guys, honestly. This is like my favorite part. Let's see. Oh, snap. I got to say, okay, we read that. People should really get the facts to understand evil is a way to fight it. In fact, to have to make a deep dive in our dark history, Germany is complex as precursors on Phillies. Yeah, on the Philly. The Zeitgeist. Yeah, I've seen Zeitgeist, and there's quite a few of them. Let's see. Oh, Limit. I am fascinated with anything that the government and we're not told. Did you guys know that the Bob Lazar documentary is coming out in a couple weeks? Let's see, the new Bob Lazar S1. Let's see. No, that's Area 51. Nope. Hold on. Bob Lazar, Area 51. No, 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 no. Oh, S4. That's what I meant to say. There we go. Yeah. So this is coming out, you guys. This is going to be so good. This is going to be so good. I can't wait to watch that. But yeah, so I watch Jesse Michaels, the American Alchemist, Area 52. Joe Rogan's done a lot of stuff I love. I really like Graham Hancock, Alternative History. You know, yeah, there's a lot of stuff I really am fascinated about that I want to go into and cover. I'm just like trying to figure out like when is a good time to, and I really don't want to deviate from the Charlie Kirk investigation until we get answers, but I guess I could do both because there's definitely like down days, there's lull days where there's not a lot of information coming out. Watch Zeitgeist on Prime, get into everything. Yeah, you should also watch the BB Files on Prime. Okay, that'll blow your mind. All right. It's fascinating. Yeah. All right. Well, I don't think I'm going to be able to do a live tomorrow normal time. It's my kid's birthday. We're doing stuff as a family. And then I might be able to do something in the evening time. I don't know yet, though. It really depends on how the whole day goes. And so tomorrow might be my first day off since starting the channel. So, but stay tuned. It'll depend on, how the day goes. But if nothing else, Sunday for sure. All right. I'm working on getting John Bray on the show, doing another show with Blake. Yeah. And I'm reaching out to the Dino kid and a couple other people that would be great to interview. So I'm definitely working on stuff behind the scenes. Stay tuned. Love you guys so much. Thank you guys for everything. Thank you guys for saying happy birthday. I'll let them know. Yeah, John Bray. He responded to me. I sent him a message. He said, yes, he's just got to get some things done first. So that'd be great. Yeah, the BB Files is on Rumble. Yeah, but it's also on Amazon. It's on Prime. Take the night off. Thank you, Renita. Yeah, probably. But, maybe if anything happens. I won't obviously do any show if, I'm spending time with the family and it goes late. But all right. God bless you guys. Get some sleep. Thank you guys so much for everything, for your love and support. Please. Oh, yeah. That was one more thing. Please, please, please hit the like and subscribe. YouTube is not pushing my channel out to anybody right now. It's crazy. And like I said in the beginning, it's like people I can see are subscribing and then all of a sudden it like unsubscribes them. I find it hard to believe that like someone's watching a video, they subscribe. I don't say anything crazy that they're going to be like, no way, this guy, I'm unsubscribing. This guy sucks. I don't know. I don't know, man. Maybe, but it's like happening a lot. So it's just weird. So yeah, Glenn, love this community. Me too. You guys are the best. Okay. Thank you guys. Yeah, shout it out on Facebook. I'm also posting things. They're on Rumble. I do have a Black Line Brief on Rumble, and I'm posting things on X. I haven't gotten to really posting things on X on Facebook yet. There's just so much. All right. Thank you guys so much for everything. God bless you guys. Have a great night. See you guys next time. God bless you. Bye.